The kingdom that chose to die there once was a kingdom called Arithen, a place people said was blessed by the gods themselves. It sat high in the mountains, surrounded by rivers that sparkled like silver under the sun. Its walls were white stone. Its towers reached the sky. Its people believed they had built paradise. The world outside was full of war and greed. But Arithen was different. They had peace. They had beauty. They had a king who ruled not with fear, but with love, King Edran the Wise. Under his reign, no one went hungry. No soldier fought. The city glowed at night with a light that never burned out, a gift, they said, from the heavens. But no paradise lasts forever. Hidden in the oldest temple of Arithen was a prophecy carved in stone. When the sky bleeds fire and the rivers turn to glass, the crown must fall by its own hand. For centuries, people treated it like a fairy tale, a myth to scare children. But King Edran didn't. He often visited the temple alone, reading those words again and again, his eyes full of something no one understood, fear. Then one night, the stars turned red. Strange light filled the sky. The rivers that once ran clear began to shimmer like molten metal. The prophecy had begun. The people panicked. Some ran to the temples. Others begged the king to fight whatever curse had come. But Edran didn't move. He stood on his balcony, watching the red clouds swirl above the kingdom he loved, and whispered, "If this is the cost of peace, then let it be mine to pay." He gathered his generals and said, "Prepare the fire." That night, for the first time in Arithen's history, its bells did not ring for celebration. They rang for farewell. The streets of Arithen were silent, like the sound of the wind and fear. Families gathered in the square, holding each other tight, not knowing what was coming. King Edran stood before them, dressed not in gold, but in white robes. No crown, no armor, just a man ready to do what no king had ever done. He spoke softly, but his words reached every heart. "Our peace came from the light of the gods, but that same light is turned against us. If it escapes, it will burn the world beyond these walls. I will not let that happen." The people shouted, "No, my king, save yourself. Don't do this." But he only smiled sadly. "A king's duty is not to survive," he said. "It is to protect." Then the flames began. Every tower, every temple, every home, lit one by one under royal command. The air filled with fire and ash. The night sky turned red and gold. Inside the palace, King Edran walked alone to the sacred chamber, the heart of Arithen, where the light that once blessed them now pulsed like a beating heart. He placed his hand on the glowing crystal and whispered, "Forgive me." A flash of light filled the sky. The ground shook. The kingdom that had stood for centuries collapsed in silence. When the fire faded, there was nothing left but smoke and dust and the echo of his final words. "Let the light end with me." Centuries later, travelers still spoke of a valley of ash where no grass grows, and the wind carries whispers that sound like voices. Most say it's cursed, but some believe Arithen still lives, not in stone or fire, but in memory. A young historian named Lyra once went looking for it. People called her foolish. They said that story's just a myth. But she believed stories exist for a reason, because somewhere, once, they were real. After months of searching, she found it. Buried under layers of black sand, she discovered a single wall of white marble, still untouched by time. On it were words carved deep into the stone. "We chose to die so the world could live," Lyra cried. She realized the prophecy wasn't a curse. It was a promise. Arithen hadn't been destroyed in anger. It had sacrificed itself to contain something powerful enough to end the world. And maybe, just maybe, that same light still sleeps beneath the earth, waiting for someone to wake it again. So when you see the lights of your city at night, the towers shining against the dark sky, remember Arithen. Remember the kingdom that burned itself, so the rest of us could exist. Because not every tragedy ends in defeat. Sometimes it ends in salvation. This was the kingdom that chose to die. If this story touched your heart, leave a like, share it with someone who loves mysteries, and subscribe to Wishper's Truth, where forgotten empires, lost civilizations, and untold sacrifices come alive again.